So I invite you to close your eyes like I do, but whatever kind of works for you. So welcome to tonight's spiritual workout drop-in. This is the place where anyone can show up, anyone can raise their hand and offer a subject, a topic, a question for us to explore as spiritual beings having human experiences. Spiritual workout is for anybody who has an affinity for that concept. Maybe it's something in which you wholeheartedly believe and know, I am a spiritual being having a human experience. Maybe it's an idea you've sort of heard and aren't quite sure of, or you're somehow investigating that for yourself. But what we do here tonight is to look at any and all of the issues and circumstances of our lives from the perspective of the being part of the human beings we are, from the perspective of, many would say, our soul. And we have lots of other words for it. What we try and do here in spiritual workout world is just demystify the whole thing. What we like to do here is be conscious and awake and aware by taking this perspective of the being part of the human beings we are and using it as a means by which we move through the issues and the challenges of our lives. And that's not the whole ball of wax, because if, for example, we are contending today with an issue around anxiety or around anger management or around a history of bad relationships or any of these things that we tend to encounter in our first world lives here, we start to see that these things are not conditions that are rained down upon us. They are, in fact, creations of ours. And as much as we might have created the situations unwittingly or unknowingly or without much conscious awareness or certainly intention or purpose, the fact of the matter is the mechanics are the same. We got where we got either by some karmic notion, which is tied to the idea that we're spiritual beings having human experiences and there's no accident to any of it, or we were just sort of haphazardly creating something that we didn't want to experience because we didn't know we were doing it. When I was a little kid and I was frustrated and angry so much of the time, I honestly believed that I needed to register my frustration and register my anger on a high enough level that it would be acknowledged. What I had no clue about was that because of this little bugger called the law of attraction, all I was doing was creating for myself more and more and more anger and frustration. So that little example, I'm sure, is something any of us can relate to. We now know in spiritual workout world, we kind of start at the place where we know how these situations get created. So what we do here, and what I started to say before, that to move through it is really just part of it. So if I'm dealing with anger and frustration and I'm addressing it in a spiritual workout way, I'm first acknowledging that anger and frustration are just two ways that I can experience being a human. They're just on the spectrum of a wide range of emotions that I can feel. And then I'm going to trust that there's some reason why I'm wired for anger and frustration and why that's constantly up in my life. It isn't anymore, by the way, right? And so spiritual being having a human experience, taking a different perspective, starting to see how things that I'm thinking are creating that. So bringing it all here is a place where we can come and put together a comprehensive set of ideas that will not only help us to move through where we are today, but to most importantly, work it out, spiritual work out, emphasis on the out, to learn how anger and frustration or anxiety or fear or whatever it is that we're dealing with gets created in the first place, have some understanding of that without going back in time and inspecting every nook and cranny of what happened when we were 4 years old. And then just seeing, wow, my beliefs really matter. Wow, it really matters what I want to experience. I know what anger and frustration are like. What is it like if I'm not living with anger and frustration? Can I create a clear picture of that? Is it coming? Do I have a desire for that? Where is that desire coming from? What is that connection all about? And you can tell just from this, I think, and I hope that all of a sudden our perspective really starts to change. And now I'm having a much greater appreciation for what happens when I quote unquote get angry or get frustrated. Now I'm bringing greater awareness to it. Now I'm spending much more time on what I'd prefer to experience, because my history of the anger and frustration is really old and boring and I don't want to deal with it anymore. And I just keep going, and I'm clear about my intentions, and I'm working out old beliefs that I better register my anger in order to be heard, right? That's just not true. So now I'm moving through this and I'm moving through it. And at a certain point, I'm just done with it. It's worked out. I don't land in that place anymore. I'm in a completely different place where who I am is different. I'm actually more of who I am, because being angry and frustrated all the time is not who any of us are. Being angry and frustrated is evidence that we're out of alignment with who we really are. So as we work out this stuff, we actually become every day more and more of who we really are, more and more in alignment with our soul, with the being part of the human beings we are. And it's from that place that we start to create what we're wanting for the future, the immediate future, the near-term future, the longer-term future, on purpose. And life just gets a whole lot more interesting and a whole lot more fun, for most of us anyway. So, nice deep breath with me, if you would. And let's rock and roll and see what y'all have to talk about tonight. What are we going to work out tonight? And if you have